Let's return to Subcon once again. We're going to continue, except we're going to cheat a little bit and use a save state here, because I don't want to have to reload from that part. Hello, Squiggles. How you doing? I think you realize what I was trying to do there and broke it on purpose. See how that works. Dang it. I'm so bad at this section. Honestly, this is the part that I definitely got maddest at when I played this the first time. Because you don't get to take your choice of hits, and because he keeps moving while you're not, you have to do this part right. And the ending is not easy either. Oh, okay, we made it to the vine, which I'm inevitably going to fall off of. See what I mean when I say you can't miss the boss? Thanks, good luck. How you doing, Steven? Even though it's not actually good to fail at that. Like, that's the one spot where I think you can take a shot, take a hit, and still come back ahead. But everywhere else you have to do it perfectly. And I'm a lot better at this having come back to it. And it not being quite as late. It looked like I practiced, but honestly I didn't. And I think we've already missed the bus. Yep. Not great. Head drop yesterday. Well, I hope it went well. I doing up pretty good. Just been kind of chilling the last few days, doing some pinball stuff. Nothing too exciting. Just figured I wanted to play some SMB2 today. Been a bit. And then Metroid tomorrow around the same time, actually. Well, a little bit earlier. Nah, there's a, like, live feature in there, so if you look at, like, my icon, it has a little thing around it and says that I'm live. I don't actually do a go live post unless I'm doing something really interesting, at least in my books. Because most go live posts are kind of like, eh. So close, yet so far away. What's up, Noah? Yep, it works, because it's been battle-tested for a long time. Like, it's no surprise to me that it works. All it does, literally, is hit one endpoint. It doesn't use the conveniently built Python library, because my version of Python on the web server does not support it. So I just decided not to bother with that. Nope. Yeah, been pretty fun. Been contemplating if I want to go further out to go and pick up a few of the more esoteric machines. This month's thing is like co-op play over a certain score, and most of the scores aren't that hard to get. I think the one that took me the longest is Metallica, just because I'm bad at Metallica, because I never played Metallica. But I got it pretty quick, both of them. Actually, no, technically speaking, I cheated. Someone had left a game where they'd already exceeded the score between the 3 players, and so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll just take it. One of the players wasn't signed in, so I was like, yeah, whatever, they're not going to care. And I asked the people there if anyone had seen anyone playing this game, they said no. But then I proceeded to go and beat the score anyway in solo play, so I felt it was good enough morally. Dang it. The other ones I have trouble with. I feel like it was one that took me a while. Most of them are pretty easy as long as I actually know the machine, and most of the machines I went and played on are ones I know because they're places I go to. Actually, yesterday, I wanted to get a burger, because there's a local place that wasn't doing corned beef and cabbage. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe I'll go over there and see if I can get a burger, because I couldn't get a burger last time I went there, because they were out of burger. And turns out they were doing corned beef and cabbage. So when I went to go get another beer, they're like, hey, do you want more corned beef and cabbage? I'm like, no, I think I had enough. That was enough corned beef and cabbage for the year. It was like, I thought about, like, buying a corned beef and doing that. I'm like, man, I just don't want to eat that much corned beef. Like, it's good, but it's not, like, the best thing ever. So... was gonna go to another place, but they were closed for Tuesday, and I don't know why. Maybe they just wanted all their staff up their other place. But I'm basically out of all of the easy-to-access machines, except maybe a couple. So I'm not really sure what I'll do next with that. Because basically, in order to get most of the other machines, I either need to go to Capitol Hill or West Seattle. And I don't want to go to Capitol Hill. Especially because the machine in question's in the friggin', like, narwhal, and I don't love the narwhal. And West Seattle is very far away, and the Admiral's just kind of an awkward place. Nuts. When you get hit, do you throw the shell? Try to think if I can cheese that spot. Yeah, Metallica's weird because it's like a remake of an older machine, and so it doesn't really do a lot of the things that would get you a lot of points in modern machines, like here's a big juicy mode. Though apparently there are modes, I had just never gotten far enough into the machine to get to them, and I didn't quite figure it out before I lost my my last ball anyway, so it didn't matter. But like other machines, modes are front and center, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, quite literally the first thing you do when you're playing that machine is you pick a mode to start in. Anytime you're modeless upon starting a game of that, upon starting another ball, it basically gives you a freebie into the mode select, which is lovely. You can pick whatever mode you find best. I do think the Star-Lord one is probably the most convenient, at least to pick at the beginning, because it's just a straight-up 2-ball multi-ball, and, like, the balls are good. And it didn't cost you anything to get into it. Now, subsequently, if you reselect it after you've lost the multi-ball property, you don't get the multi-ball property again. Crap, I hate that spike. But Metallica is basically like, here are 3 or 4 ways of getting a multi-ball. Good luck. So, like, you've got the big obvious one where you're hitting Sparky or whatever the Metallica's short-lived mascot was called. Because everybody looked at Iron Maiden and said, you know what? Eddie was a great idea. Maybe we should do that. Like, even Halloween got in on that with their pumpkin-headed mascot. Only unforgettable otherwise. And then there's the grave markers, which if you knock down 3 of them and lock a ball, you get a multi-ball. Dang it. That overhang also sucks. Okay. It's funny, because I'm pretty sure GlitchCat was happy with most of what he produced for this, but this was the one level he's like, yeah, I should not have made this one. Just because it is much more precise than everything else. Ah, crud. Yeah, I'm already dead. There's no real way around it. Dang it. Like, that is the only spot right there where you can take some amount of imprecision. Everything else, you have to go really fast. It's a lot of hurry up and wait in this level. Getting on the other side of... Gotta get on there earlier. What's up, Jesus Juice? How you doing? I am just doing this level. Oh, it's going okay. I actually found my old VOD from last time I played this, and you know what? I did better. A lot better. I gave up on the prior room in 3-2 after about 5 hours, whereas here I got to this room in 4-ish. So I'm not unhappy with that. Then I think I spent a long-ass time in this room before deciding not to come back to Subcon. But I think I did beat it and get to the next level, but I don't think I beat the next level. All I remember was a Luigi level, and at that point I was just kind of, no. Do I still need that guy? You're right, this isn't Pokemon. Whoops. I'm feeling rather dumb. It's gonna require me to fix that later. Oh my. That's gonna be annoying. There's a lot of things that are gonna be annoying. Okay. There we go. We fixed it. We fixed it. Okay. No. I think I just need to get off that vine quicker. Nuts. But yeah, this is what this is. It's this until I get it right, and then there's the riding on the shell portion, which will be trickier. I think I'm too slow. Nope. If that was like one tile longer, it wouldn't be awful. Okay, get on. Shy Guy. Okay, yeah, this time I definitely did it. Okay, well. Closer. I like how there's that life there that you have no chance of ever getting. Like, I'm pretty sure it's basically impossible to get that. I didn't jump. Anyway. What else is happening? Not much. Did start work on some Zelda hacking, finishing up my QLDC notes to be done with QLDC. Got a decent amount of that done today. Got the webpage generator generating. Filled in all of the references that I meant to fill in. There's a couple in there I need to rewrite, including the last one, which is pretty much just, I hate you and I hate this level. But mostly you. I'm leaving that, by the way. It's staying in. I just feel I should actually write something about the level beyond I hate you and the level. Because, man, that level sucks. And is meant to be cruel, is kind of the point. Yeah, but that level, entirely designed to be painful. That's kind of the point. Thank goodness they didn't send the original. Because they left the original in as, like, a little teaser, just so you could see what it would have been like had they not nerfed it. And thank goodness they nerfed it, because, man, that was, a bad idea. One of those, it's probably funny to you, but to no one else kind of ideas. Did get an RTA clear on the real one? It's insane to me. Also, how you doing, Simon? I think I forgot to say hi a moment ago. Congratulations on getting an RTA clear of the original. But man, I never want to see that level again. I just don't. Nuts. Either way, like I said, it's been a while coming. I think the last of the QLDC levels I played was like 2 weeks ago. So, maybe longer. In fact, that last one went out today. That's how long it's been. On YouTube. No. I'm getting better at this. First part. Nope, that's toast. Because, yeah, I think for the most part, Glitch Cat made it so you could pick where you want to take your damage in this level. Or not this level, in this game. This hack, this mod, this level pack, whatever we're calling them these days. And this level is, like, the key exception. Because you are racing this Shy Guy, you kinda just have to deal. And if you mess up a little bit, the timing is just lost. And in Mario World, this wouldn't be a problem, because when you get hit, time freezes for all of the other sprites, but not so in this game. Whoops. Not to mention, like, that part's just easier if you do it the expected way, because the porcupine lines up better. What's sad is this might be the only thing I do this evening. Anyway, on my list of things to just get done while I still can do them. Because I'm probably going to need to do some traveling at the beginning of April. Hopefully we'll still be around April 1st, but it's going to depend upon the contract being created and filled out and stuff. Because I will need to go to the East Coast to do some work on that contract. Which I'm not complaining about. I don't mind a little travel at that point in time. But it's very much, there's a small list of things that must get done first. This is one of them. I think Turoband's also on the list. Metroid is definitely on the list. Okay. I can't believe that didn't kill me, and I can't believe I'm out of here. Oh my god. I take it back. You can choose one other place to take a hit in that level. I don't remember this at all. Oh, hello. I forgot. So, when we were talking about this at GDQ, is that this is almost a vanilla hack. The bouncy mushroom things are not a vanilla thing at all. That is something that D the Fourth and Glitch Cat came up with. I'm not sure whom. Oh, I bounce on those. Yeah, I can't. I definitely think that maybe a couple more frames and I would have been done. What am I supposed to do there to not take damage? Maybe you're supposed to take damage. Oh, whoops. Like, maybe that's the idea here, is you don't get to be big, because it would trivialize the things. I don't see an obvious way to get past this guy here without taking the first hit of damage, so maybe he's a gate. Okay, I definitely got past this level because I remember the other one. The Luigi one. Hey look, it's a shell! Can you guess how I can tell? Oh boy, nope, too late. But you know what? I'll take it. Like, I cleared that one part. And nobody can take that away from me, because I never implemented resetting on this console. And I turned it off on the SNES a while ago and no one complained. The more I thought about it, the more I'm like, man, for some games the reset thing just isn't fun. It's like, yeah, you couldn't just make it so like, yeah, you beat the final boss? No, you didn't. Okay, great, another 15-minute slog, thank you. Just kinda got tired of that. The gimmick wore thin, for me at least, I think. But now I am more confident than ever that I will beat this before Subcon 2 comes out. What this probably means is I'm going to be on the East Coast when Subcon 2 comes out, so I won't get to play it right when it comes out, which will be a bummer. Unless I want to play in Messen, which I kind of don't. Like, what's the point of having hardware if not using it? I'm not taking this out to the East Coast because, one, don't have a capture card for it. And two, I don't have a TV for it. Accessible on the East Coast. Oh man, I need more velocity to the right when that happens. But I've seen the door. Seeing the door is half the battle. Encountered a Stern pinball machine you were staying at. Sadly, too old to be connected. So old, in fact, the QR code on the machine reached a 404 page on Stern's website. Wait, what? So did it have a reader? It just didn't work? Also, that's hilarious. Like, I don't mind encountering a good old Stern. I'd love to see another... I'd love to play Heavy Metal again. That looked like fun. Though very similar to Metallica in sort of how I think it's supposed to play. Really, you're just supposed to get the multi-balls. But I also love the theming of it being a heavy metal machine, as in the magazine, specifically. Not even the movie. Actually, I think it's movie-themed. It might be themed after the first movie, not the second one. Because I think Titania is in there with her bird thing that she rides. Just go to scan for more info. Transformers? Transformers? Oh yeah, that's an old one. That is a very old one, then. I don't think I've ever seen a Transformers out in the wild. Got a multiple? Nice. I find that with pinball machines, it's best to find what will make you happy when you succeed, rather than worrying about a high score frequently. Unless you know you're playing for money or something. But yeah, like some machines, my goal is simply, like, for 007, my goal is almost always, I want to hit the James Bond mini wizard mode, which isn't a hard one. You just have to play the 2 multi-balls. Play the 2 multi-balls, and then start, not even finish, start a villain and henchman. The problem is starting a henchman. I'm so bad at that shot. The way it works is there's a flipper, a left flipper on the upper bit on a loop that comes off of stuff, and you have to hit it out of there into a specific part of what they call the martini shot area. It's a weird little metal thing which allows them... It has a name, like Italian something, I forget. But basically it's kind of a T-junction. T-junction? Kind of a T-junction, yeah. I'd say a T-junction. Where there's 2 different routes into it. And one, well, really 2 different routes out, too. You can always fall out and you get a martini shot, which gets you an extra smart missile. Anyway, you just have to hit through that upper thing, and the way you start the villain modes is do the same thing on the lower one of that. And you just have to start one, don't finish. So you use one ball, start that, use another ball, start the other one. And then play the 2 multi-balls, which as long as you don't drop both balls at once, you're in a pretty safe area. Not to say this doesn't happen, but you know. And fancy Sterns even have this ability called, like, swipe a ball, where you press the button, and if it's the right color, green, you can actually steal a locked ball from a different multi-ball type, which I think is fascinating, and I never have used to any amount of actual utility. Mostly because I usually have smart missiles, and it procs those first, and I think you have to hold the button to get the swipe-a-ball thing to work. And I need an extra hand for that. Now, don't get me wrong, I've never been above, like, okay, I'm gonna hit the button with my nose, which I've done a few times, if I can hold if I can hold the balls on the 2 sides. But generally speaking, you need a free hand. There are some machines that actually play with this concept, and probably the most interesting is Dune. Because the way it works in Dune is, the way it works in Dune is there's a certain point where you get a last chance. They're basically like, oh hey, I got past without getting hurt. Cool. That probably shouldn't happen. But basically, in a case where you would have otherwise lost your game, it's like, oh no, now you can try the trial of pain. You must keep a hand on the button at all times. It doesn't matter, I'm gonna die now. Some days, I wonder. That was cool. But yeah, if you ever touch both of the flippers at the same time, or release the center button, you die. That's it. You know, representing the box moment in Doom that everyone loves so very much. Where Paul Atreides puts his hand in a box, and it hurts him. I'm pretty sure that's what happens, at least. It's been a long time since I've watched and or read Dune. I only watched the David Lynch one, too, so I don't know what happens to the other ones. That one had Patrick Stewart, which is as good of a reason for any, of any to watch a movie. I didn't know that was actually going to be an egg. I just kind of hoped. Crap. Sup, Matt? Hope you didn't see the Pokemon thing earlier and get excited. And thank you for 41 months. That is a long time. I'm just talking about pinball while dying to Birdo, as one does. The what now? Which thing? Talking about pinball? Pinball is a game where you manipulate a steel ball inside of a machine. You might get more than one steel ball. That's called multi-ball. For the longest time, no one could use the word multi-ball. It was trademarked, I believe, by Stern, so everyone else would have to call it something that was multiple balls, but not. Yeah, I was in the wrong category. Completely straight and stupid. Just outright forgot. I'm like, okay, I did all of the big pre-stream checklists. Kind of surprised no one else noticed. Took a while for anybody to notice. But we fixed it, and I'll have to deal with that later. Nuts. Yeah, you can actually pick this guy up. I just noticed. Do-ball. That actually wouldn't be a bad name for just a straight-up multi-ball mode. Do-ball. Okay, I begin to think that landing... Oh, whoops. Landing on that might be better. I think the record for the most multi-ball, like, most balls you can get in a single multi-ball thing is, like, 13 on Space Shuttle or something insane like that. Which is too many. Just straight up too many. Like, I can do 2 balls, I can do 3 balls and kind of juggle. After 4, I'm just kind of, alright, we're just hoping here. Dang it! Well, it wouldn't matter anyway. But yeah. I don't know if that was a good idea, but I went for it. Ah, darn, that would have been cool that I made that. I expect in Subcon 2, due to just better, like, programming stuff and a longer lead time, those sorts of hearts will only spawn when Glitch wants them to. As opposed to whenever you hit, like, kill, like, 8 enemies or something. Actually do not know the criteria. I jumped with hope. I should not have had hope. Anyway. What? Be central. Okay, that's where it spawns. And the good news is it doesn't kill the red guy. That was actually useful learning. Because I straight up had no idea what was going to happen. Now let's watch me fall into the waterfall. Nope. Alright, well that was 3 and it only took 30 minutes. I'm not unhappy with that. I know that the last time it took me way longer, but I did get lucky. Yeah, this is another Luigi ducks everywhere level. Pretty sure you need the momentum from that. Well, I got the tail at least. Otherwise. Luigi is like playing on ice level all the time, and now we're in an actual ice level. Maybe that'll clip you through the floor. I'm looking at that and I'm like, that looks weird. I don't think I got past this section when I last played. I think this was the terminal location. Yeah. Trying to kill my momentum, it just didn't work. Oh, hello. Hello, Glitchclat and peoples. Ah, there we go. Alright, now what? Thank you for the raid. How was your stream? What were you up to? Hope it was something fun. I got past 3-2 just a little bit ago, so I'm feeling very happy. Because that was what caused me much pain back when last I played this. I don't think I did that right for some reason. What's up, Dordle? I think I did manage to cheese it a little bit, but I'm not going to complain. What's up, Godworst? How you doing? Thank you for the good luck. Crap. It's so weird to go play Mario 2 again, because Mario 2 just... nothing plays like Mario 2, especially Luigi. Luigi in 2. See this game? Hope I'm fun. I am! Feels like much better than this. The design's kind of rough. I know. But it was on my list of things. I wanted to beat Subcon 1 before Subcon 2 came out. And I know that it's soon-ish. So... and I've seen Subcon 2 at GDQ, so I can attest that the level design is a lot better. Or at least friendlier. Might be a better word for it, too. But experience in learning what works and what doesn't. There's a lot of things. Actually, I was supposing something earlier, since I was doing the Birdo fight in the last level, right before you raided. Whether or not the game would still spawn hearts whenever you killed enough enemies. I was off by a block. I was wondering if you'd found a way to disable that, or we're going to leave that enabled just out of, well, why not-ness. Luigi still plays, handles like a bistro. Leaving that in? Alright. I was curious. It's the kind of thing I could imagine patching out, because, you just don't want that specific thing happening. No. Because it kind of does allow for some cheese, but also, it's the kind of cheese where it's who cares, you know? Also might give opportunities for interesting speedrunning strats. These things are kind of what to do. For speedrunning might be neat, might help catch. Exactly, exactly. Does not need to be a hardcore, as ridiculous as possible, SMB2 experience. I'm pretty sure there are other hacks for that. There we go. No! It's a very narrow tail. There we go. Yeah, I need a little bit of speed first before I make that jump, before I start ducking. Once again, nothing really in this world controls, this buttery Luigi. I'm not sure I mean that in a good way. But, anyway. For what it's worth, aside from 3-2, I think I've largely had fun with this. And the vine thing. I had some trouble learning the vine tech that I didn't realize was in the game. The one where, what you do is, if you want to jump off the vine correctly, you need to be holding up a little bit. Kind of. I'm not exactly sure how better to describe it, because it's a weird bit of tech. And then there's one of the levels that requires it. And there's not a good spot to, learn it. You simply have to hope that it works. You kind of have to figure it out. I guess you can kind of learn it on the first vine, but it's still a little bit tricky to learn. But, oh god, Luigi and ice. Two great tastes in one. Just making myself thirsty. Look how he kind of goes to the ceiling sometimes. That could be a weird, physics thing, or it could just be Luigi. A weird Luigi. That wasn't the jump. What's up, Tony Brewer? How you doing? You were a brewer or two in my time. Actually, people named a brewer, not people. I guess I have known people who work in that profession too. But well, there we go. That worked, kind of. And that so didn't. All right, let's see. Can we make this? Nope, not a chance. Let's get to listen to it spray at you. I need to stop trying to make that work. It just doesn't work. Anyway. Now, other than complaining about Luigi's butteriness, just talking about pinball a bit. Went around and looked at some Stern machines yesterday and got some badges for doing the silly badge things. Mostly right now, just getting cumulative points in a multiplayer game, so... Though there's some Jurassic Park stuff I probably should learn how to do. But it wasn't even like very hard Jurassic Park stuff, like just play specific modes. I need to stop doing that. Pick Jazz and helicoptered over the spikes. Now, wouldn't that have been grand? I've mentioned a number of times I can't actually play Jazz Jackrabbit on hardware with the streaming setup I have because it tends to break horribly. I'm not really sure why. Less love today, but when this game came out, it was massive. Really? I mean, I guess the second Mario game probably was pretty big. I did get a movie, though. Sad you love Jazz. Yeah, so there is a way I could do it, but it would take some effort, and I'd need to go find some cables. So the video card on the back of the Squiggle Box has 2 outputs. Okay, what I think I've learned here is if you just stand up, it cancels your momentum immediately. The brakes, what happens is that it just can't sync right. I don't know what mode Jazz runs in, but it looks like it's a weird mode of some sort, and my video card is just like, or my capture card just like, has weird flashes. I can show you, send you a video of that happening if you want to see it. I demonstrated it at some point in the recent history. In one of the Christmassy streams, because Jazz Jackrabbit Christmas Edition is fun, but basically what I need to do, I think, is capture Jazz Jackrabbit using S-Video instead of VGA, which has its own set of problems, but is ultimately doable, see? I don't think that's recoverable. How'd I do that anyway? Shoot, everyone's convenient? Oh, sure. But yeah, it's possible, just would take some doing. Jazz Jackrabbit 2 conveniently being a Windows application does not have that problem. Whereas Jazz Jackrabbit 1 in all of its forms is a DOS program. It's easier to capture Windows stuff because Windows is handling the frame rate stuff and doesn't allow for quite as much weird mode weirdness as DOS did. Because DOS would just kind of let you do whatever you wanted. It just got out of the way and let you have a party with the hardware. Because DOS isn't really an operating system so much as it is a system of... It is an operating system. But it's much more akin to a library than a framework in many ways. I learned something. But yeah, I think Jazz Jackrabbit runs in like some weird, not common mode. And maybe if I fiddled around with some of my settings, I could figure out what it's supposed to be doing. But I'd have to look, it's been a long time. Actually, what I'd probably do is pull up ancient DOS games to see what it says about like the frame rate, because that dude does decent research. If you're not familiar, Ancient DOS Games is a YouTube channel that's been trying to at least branch out of that, because at some point in time, it's the angry video game problem. You run out of actually bad games. Okay, Am I using DOS? I'm using a Windows 98 machine. It's sitting next to me. I'm not using it right now, mind you. I'm playing Mario 2, but yeah, there's an actual machine that has Windows 98 installed on it. I call it the Squiggle Box because my friend Squiggles actually owns it. He wanted to build the Windows 98 PC of his high school dreams, and then he did. And I did this literally at my place, and then proceeded to leave it here at my place. So I've been playing stuff on it when I can, because honestly, Windows 98 emulation isn't great yet for certain classes of things. For example, Macromedia Director stuff, there's not really good emulation for that yet. You can like try it in Windows 98 VM. It kind of works depending upon what they did. Or you could try ScumVM, but the ScumVM people are discovering there's more and more intricacies to this irritating piece of pro software. Your friend has it down Windows 98 PC too? Oh, nice. Yeah, I like to break it out and play silly games on it from time to time. I just haven't had the impetus to do it for a while because I've been lazy and playing Pokemon. And bizarrely enough, the thing that captures HDMI for me is also the thing that I use to capture VGA, just because of how it worked out. Having multiple capture cards. How? Yeah, I played through a few games. I played through a lot of games on it. A lot of point-and-click adventure games. I love the old Sierra-style games. I did the Monkey Island games, a few of them. I think I've done the first 3, maybe. I don't know what to do there yet. Auto captions often say silly things, but it's downgrading Windows 98 to Windows NT. That is funny. I will let you know right now, like, I'm using the cheapest form of the subtitling stuff because I think I found, like, a random, like, blue sky message. I'm not calling it a skeet. Just makes me think of that one song. About, like, all you have to do is, if you're using OBS over a certain version, is go hit this checkbox. And I'm like, I could hit a checkbox! So I did. Windows NT8. It is great. Last game we played through on his setup was King's Quest 8, The Black Sheep. Yeah, Mask of Eternity. That is, a game. I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. I can pick up the shell before falling off and then throw it again. That's what I'm supposed to do. I mean, the Mask of Eternity, aka King's Quest 8, is a black sheep for a reason. Namely that Roberta Williams didn't have much. Arts unit. It's just like the fucking, like, Mastodon thing was like, it's called a twoot! Like, bro, that is a terrible name and you know it. But at least open source has a history of having just terrible names for things. Maybe that doesn't work. I completely lost train of thought. Anyway, that was the point, is I turned on the basic easy thing, so it's using whatever, like, default Windows crappy speech-to-text API. So, yeah, one of the 2 hard problems in computer science. Cache invalidation, naming things, and by 1 errors. But yeah, King's Quest 8, like, they really wanted to start, like, trying to bring in other mechanics into the game. They want to make, like, an action-y game, and I don't think they really succeeded, but I played it at, like, some sort of computer store a million years ago, and I don't know. I'd say my favorite of the King's Quest is probably 5, maybe 6. I think 6 is probably a better put-together game than most of them. Mostly because I'm pretty sure it has no dead man walking states, which is something to say for that. For that era of gaming. Because, like, Monkey Island, there are no walking dead states. In fact, I think they even make fun of that at some point, because they're like, no, we just don't do that. That's not our ethos. We do not allow the player to get into a situation where they are hosed and have to reload or start the game over again because they messed up and walked across a bridge one too many times. Favorite is Quest for Glory, not even close. Loved it, that's why you had to play it again. Fair enough, huh? I guess that makes sense if the Quest for Glory is your favorite of the series. Did you end up playing the, How am I supposed to do this? I need the shell. Ever played The Dig? It was a good game. I did, actually. I had played it as a little bit as a kid, and I hadn't beaten it. And then a while ago, me and my friend were playing adventure games together for at least a little bit. It was nice. We tried The Dig, and he didn't like it, and I didn't love it in retrospect. I think it demonstrates the biggest weaknesses of LucasArts writing at the time. Because while they were great at writing an absolute farce, like Monkey Islands are hilarious, The Dig is them trying to be serious. And I think if you look at what The Dig is and how it plays out, they're really kind of aiming for the same, not exactly the same sort of format, but the same sort of like feel as the Rama. And Rama kind of works better, in part because it's 3D rendered and all that, but also because the game takes itself 100% seriously at all times. And The Dig just doesn't. It does not take itself seriously enough for what it is. How you doing, Das Miko? 5 is the one that most people are least vaguely familiar with? Yeah, 5 is good. It has that hilarious thing about, like, we just got whoever was around to do the voices, because this is the first time they'd ever done a talkie. And so there's only really 2 people who were on there that were actually, like, any good at doing voices, as much as I hate to say it. In King's Quest V, I'm talking about, of course. And the 2 people were the guy who plays King Graham, who was like a VP of engineering or something. Like a completely random fella for this kind of thing. And then the other guy, the guy who does Cedric. You can hate how he did Cedric, but he actually did have voice acting skills before and after that particular thing. And I don't think any of the other people from 5 were invited back into the recording room for some reason. Rama to glitchism is like, it is Myst-like, but I think it also isn't very Misty in a lot of ways. Like, Myst has a very specific design ethos behind it, which basically is, no, we are not doing inventory-based puzzle games. Which I appreciate to some extent, having solved a lot of dumb inventory-based puzzle games. I beat Gabriel Knight 3 within recent memory, and that, of course, has the infamous puzzle that killed adventure gaming, as people like to say. John Rhys Davies doing the narration, Quest for Glory. I didn't know that. I don't know who that is either. But Rama. What I love most about Rama is they got Arthur C. Clarke to come and record a few like little bits, but all of the little bits are either in the ending itself or anytime you die. And it's basically like, yeah, you died, you moron. Huh. Thoughtline still image travel? Yeah. And I think that's kind of the key difference here, though, is that is the style, it's the aesthetic of it, but it's not the ethos behind the puzzle design. And I think that makes a huge difference. Gimli Dwarf? Oh my, huh. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that in Quest for Glory. Yeah, following that era, they did a bunch of adventure games with people who actually had voice acting chops. So, like, probably the one that had the most... Well, there were 2 I could think of that had the most star power behind them. There was an FMV game called The Ripper. And they got... What's his name? The guy who plays Bruce Dickinson in that one sketch. And Superman. Okay, so you hop through there, but then how do you get onto that? It's a one-tile jump. Why are there spikes here instead of letting you die otherwise? Tim Curry is Gabriel Knight. Yeah, that's true. The guy from Sliders? No. Yeah, Tim Curry is Gabriel Knight. That is true. They also got, like, some of the other voice acting people you'd know from, like, cartoons. Jim Cummings. That was it. Okay. Dang it. All right. Anyway, Ripper's okay. It's not great. It has a problem narrative-wise, but if I were to explain why I dislike that specific thing, it ruins a good chunk of the game, and so I'm not going to explain it in case someone wants to play it. The other really big one... oh, it's nice. Oh, okay. The other one that was a huge name at the time was... they got Christopher Lloyd for Toonstruck, as well as a bunch of people you'd recognize from, like, Animaniacs. They had Jim Cummings and at least a couple of the Animaniacs character actors. And that one's an interesting one, but definitely not great. It's funny. It suffers from the fact that they clearly either ran out of money or really were expecting that they would get approved for a sequel, because it ends on a stupid cliffhanger. But that's well known at this point in time, and I don't think it ruins the game. I do like the meta puzzle. They have a nice little meta puzzle that they basically show you early on, and it's up to you to figure out which items are involved in the meta puzzle as opposed to other puzzle solving, which I think is cute. He did? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He did Old Graham, yeah. What's also funny is, like, the guy who does the King Graham voice, he will, like, if you ask nicely and are doing a project, he will, oh, I did it! I don't know what I did, but I did it. Alright, didn't do it right, though. But yeah, the guy who does King Graham, if you can call him up, he'll occasionally just be willing to run lines for you. There's one guy who does, like, speedrun-based, like, videos, and his wheelhouse is just adventure games. I forget his name. It's like One Big Eye or something. Or One Eye Short. There's, like, too many people with eye names that I need to keep track of. But for looking into this silly little adventure game that someone had made called Owl's Quest, One Eye Short. One Short Eye, thank you. He got the guy who plays King Graham to do some lines for him. Yeah, I think he also tried to get the guy who does Cedric the Owl to do lines for him, but he burned out his voice doing that years ago, so he doesn't do it very often. I did actually see some of these people at Adventure Game Con. Okay. We figured out what we're doing there. Okay, I'm certain I understand what's going on here now. Space Quest Historian. Yeah, I've seen Space Quest Historian. I just like that one a bit more. I don't know, he got like a weird alien, like, avatar, doesn't he? I might be thinking of someone else. But also, I'd like to go back and play through some of the Space Quest. So I've not been watching too many of either of these, except ones I've played recently. What I'd love to do is Laura Bow, but I've run into the problem where, like, the versions I've managed to acquire don't do both the text and the speech. They're not talkies. They don't do both for some reason. I don't know why. It was supported around that time in other Sierra games that used similar, I think, SGI interpreter games around that time. So I don't know why. Like, EcoQuest supported that, which was the other cool thing. Actually, I got my when I went to the Adventure Game Con thing, I got a few things signed. I got Phantasmagoria 2 signed by both the woman who wrote the script and by the guy who plays Curtis, which was pretty cool. And then I got maybe that was it. Either way, I got the guy who plays Cedric the Owl to sign my copy of EcoQuest, because he also plays a few characters in that, including Superfluous. And I asked him about his entire, like, and he went on to a long tear about what he was doing with that character, because it turns out, like, he was like, yeah, I wanted to make him sound like this completely corrupt. He had a particular person in mind. I wish I could remember his name, but a completely corrupt mayor of Chicago or something. It was actually really funny. Played Daggerham and I was speech. Man, there's some lines that still pop up. I think when I played it, we didn't have the speech. I think we only played with text, because there was a brief period of time where we had a decent enough computer to play such things, but didn't have a sound card yet. So, like, initially when we played Myst, we didn't have sound. This, as it turns out, makes certain parts of Myst very difficult. For instance, I once got stuck in the rocket ship after brute forcing the puzzle. Anyway, I do wonder if the ethos of no inventory stuff came out of the fact that the games were originally built in HyperCard, which was not a game system. The flapper you come across is spicy. I gotta say, I do love the cliche that is the Dagger of Emon-Ra. Like, you've got this, like, 1920s hard-boiled, not quite hard-boiled detective journalist story. It is definitely a nice departure from some of the other more fantastical stuff you will find in Sierra games. Of course, there are also, if you want something more down-to-earth, there was always Police Quest, which admittedly the last in that series before it became SWAT was not as down-to-earth. Your whole body. Oh my. Well, it was the 1920s. There we go. There are some bits in that are kind of, like, funny in terms of lost in time kind of moments. Like, there's a cliche in there of the, like, Chinese laundromat, which... No. That's just not a thing anymore. Like, it was a recognizable cliche for the people who were making the game then, but, like, I'm willing to bet if I asked one of my nephews, like, one, have you ever seen a laundromat? Two, who would you expect to own a laundromat? He probably wouldn't say a stereotypical Chinese guy. Probably because most of them, when they meet, like, Chinese people, are very normal, because they, like, live in a place where there's plenty of them. Where they're normal people and not, you know, video game cliches. God, what am I doing here? This is so friggin' hard to recover from. Forgot about the Chinese laundromat? Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, clearly they're like, oh crap, how do we solve this problem? She needs a gown for the big museum ball thing. And she had her luggage stolen as the very first thing that happens in the game. How do we get from A to B? Oh yeah, sometime when you're in a cab, you just happen to, you know, come across a slip for a dry cleaner. And that slip happens to be a well-fitting dress. No one questions this. Ah, no. Almost. But yeah, it's a very strange little cliche. There's a lot of cliches like that when you go back in time. You're like, okay, yeah, that's bad, but like no one would recognize this as the cliche that it is anymore. They'd just be like, why did they do that? That's just weird. As opposed to, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like the Japanese people have buck teeth and wear coolie hats everywhere. Like that's a cliche from back in the day. Doesn't match any sort of reality. If you were to envision an average Japanese dude, you're probably thinking of a guy wearing a suit. And not a kimono and a coolie hat. Honest, there are 3 dry cleaning places all run by Asian owners. Fair. But, like, I doubt that it reaches into that level of cliche. Like the, just to use a modern example now I think about it, the Mr. Washi Washi from Family Guy. Who is, you know, a Chinese cliche. Nuts. But I doubt any of them kind of lean into that, and at least in Seattle, I feel you're more likely to come across, like, Koreans owning that kind of thing. Also for teriyaki places, for some reason. They're all owned by Koreans, I don't know why. Not cliche, exactly. Like, I think The Simpsons, once again, also did this very well. It's like, you could make friends, like, Abe Simpson being kind of seen, I was like, oh, you could make friends with a Chinaman. It's like, hey, a ping pong. He's like, my name is Greg. But that's just Abe Simpson being selectively senile. When it is required for the show. No. Have your own theory about dry cleaning places, all being fronts for something. They always exist, but you never frequent them. Well, I mean, the thing is that if you don't exist in that world that needs stuff dry cleaned, why would you ever go to a dry cleaning place? Which is to say, if you don't wear a suit for work, or other clothing that is high enough class and quality to justify it. Of course, the richest dude I ever knew just wore jeans, so... He did own a powerboat that he would use to commute, which I think expresses the amount of wealth he had fairly well. He also just liked boats in general. But I digress. That jump is really hard. Oh. Generally, there's a few other like Sierra games I've played that are definitely more in the obscure bin. I did Shivers recently, and then tried to play Shivers is part of an archipelago and completely mucked it up and kind of ruined someone else's archipelago experience because of it, which was really funny in retrospect. With severe apologies to Cugs. But basically, I'm going through doing everything I can because the game itself isn't like completely gated. There's a large chunk of it that's accessible without like keys because you can access certain doors and stuff by solving puzzles instead. I also messed up really early on and skipped a check that I shouldn't have because that might have been important. I don't know if it actually turned out to be important, but it was funny at least. But basically, to solve one of the important puzzles at the very beginning of Shivers, you need to look at a bunch of different plates that exist. There's like 5 or 6 of them. But the thing is that you as a normal person can intuit what the 6th one is, having seen all 5, or the 5th one is, having seen all 4, or whatever. But each of those individually is a check in basically the default setup for the archipelago. Battle bugs? I don't think I've even heard of that. Kind of reticent just to stand here because the annoying sound every time it goes that way. Real-time strategy game, huh? I have never heard of this. Didn't they sing with a bunch of friends? Your Morph Ball for Super Metroid was found 96%, literally last place. Oof. That's what that's an RTS like. Yeah, I could see that. Let's say published by Sierra, doesn't mean made by Sierra. Sierra became a very big publishing company for a very short period of time. Fun fact, they published the original Half-Life, if I recall correctly. As well as some of the, like, expansions. Because there's the one where you're, like, an actual Marine, and then there's the one where you're a rent-a-cop. And I've never played either of those. Or the first one for all that much time. Things I should do with my Windows 98 machine. Just stop dying there. Like, I know what to do. Ah. Having an extra hit would be nice in that last section. I don't think it'll be that useful in that last section. Yeah. That was a bit around the time when Sierra was kind of imploding anyway. I read a book, read a long article about it, and then I ended up reading the book that Ken Williams put out about time at Sierra. Which is one of the reasons I know that King's Quest VIII didn't have much Roberta input. In part because they actually left the company because she wasn't able to get her input taken seriously for King's Quest VIII. Willie Beamish. That was Dynamics? Willie Beamish is weird. I think I've only ever seen that in like the context of the Angry Video Game Nerd. But I've never actually played it. Got a toad named Horny. There's a bunch I would like to check out, but time is always never on my side for these things. I just get distracted and end up doing other things like playing Return to Subcon. I do have a couple things I'd like to do in the near future, namely some adventures in advergaming, which might just end up being this year's April Fool's Day thing again if I don't get around to doing something else. It's very odd. Yeah, I've seen a few bits. It does seem strange. At least the art that I've seen is mildly off-putting, but I think that might have just been like when they had to crunch things down for the Sega Genesis. The Sega Genesis had its abilities, but honestly, sometimes they weren't the best abilities. Especially when programmed inexpertly. Stronger CPU than the SNES. Weaker everything else, mostly. Come on. Didn't get the jump. That friggin' whale is judging me. With his special judgments. I lost track of what I was doing. But yeah, like the Super Nintendo with its massive number of modes and stuff kind of completely was going too fast. Kind of completely wrecks what little graphical abilities this Genesis had, except that you had more time to do stuff between scan lines. And you know what? You can get a lot of interesting things done when you have more time to process things between scan lines. Whereas the Super Nintendo, you probably don't want to be mucking about with PPU registers between scan lines unless you're doing it via HDMA. There just isn't enough time. I am so smart. Yeah, I played EcoQuest and EcoQuest 2, and I have to say, of the two, EcoQuest, the original, is a far better game. Also, someone recently, I guess recently probably means like last few years, went and did a bunch of fixes to bring back stuff from the floppy disk version onto the CD-based version. Because for some reason, they like removed some palettes and actually shrunk down some other resources, like made them smaller and less colorful. Which is just a weird choice, given you've moved from a medium that stores exactly 100, or, well, 1.44 megabytes to one that serves, what, 650? So, like, it is a question about why. It also restored the copy protection, which got me very confused for a minute, because I wasn't even aware it had copy protection. But it was like the simplest class of copy protection. It's literally, here's one thing that you need to get from the manual. Which, let's be honest with ourselves, is not exactly the world's most complicated copy protection. We had some of those ones that were beefy back in the day, like the SimCity one with the red paper with the black ink on it. Like that, you had to seriously squint to read those. There was only one for baseball that was very similar to the Dial-A-Pirate, except it was dial some baseball stats. I don't remember anything about the game at this point. I don't remember the name, but I remember the wheel. And of course, we had Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, which comes with the World Fact Book. And that's literally it. Like, you just use that to mess with people. You need the fact book to actually play the game. Nobody was going to pay money to duplicate the fact book. That was a chonker of a book. To be fair, I imagine that at a certain point you could probably figure it out exactly what you need out of the book and not actually copy everything, but still. In books with red mosaic to cover the answers and red magnifying glass. I never saw those. That does sound cool, though. Yeah, my preferred form of hints nowadays, despite the fact that game FAQs exists, is that if I'm having trouble with an adventure game or something, I'll go pull up the UHS website, which is the Universal Hint System, and it's nice because it takes kind of most of them take kind of a Socratic method, where like you're stuck in a room, you go look up the room or the puzzle or whatever, and it's like, okay, do you understand this? And it keeps drilling down until you can get the hint that you actually need, as opposed to game FAQs, at least for adventure games, is more of, go here, click this, go here, grab that, kind of thing. And sometimes the answers be, no, you've done everything you can do here. Yeah, it's a shame it died out, because it was a good format for that kind of thing. Their website's still up, like, kind of abandoned. Still works. The files are still there. You could theoretically get a UHS reader if you wanted. But the website does a decent enough job, even though it's like, you want to turn on JavaScript for this? I'm like, no, I'm happy. I don't need no JavaScript. Actually, does remind me, Donkey Island, which was a kind of sequel to one of the Monkey Islands, sort of. Made by some Polish kids. Czechoslovakian kids? I think it's Polish kids. But basically it recently, in the last few years, got translated, and someone eventually went and made a UHF-style hint website for it, which I think is snazzy. Dang it. I've toyed around occasionally with making one of those for Reverie. but why? Other than it'd be kind of fun. I guess that's really the only reason. I didn't want to get Fire's Blessing before I went and did it, though. That's what's happening. I'm ducking too early. That little bit there. Okay. Yeah, okay, I understand why that's happening now. I just need to not duck until a little bit later. Dang it! I was so close to being on the tail with neutral momentum. It was a little bit early. I am definitely ready for a new section that probably has fewer whales spouting. It is definitely a sound that is getting old. A little bit too low there. Okay. I meant to duck! Oh well. Also, the spout can kill you. So I didn't even think about that. There's a timing aspect of that last bit that had gone previously unexplored. No. Too fast. Too fast, too quick. There we go. Sometimes he's gotta push it. Nope, not enough. Oh, I gotta go a little bit earlier if I want to keep that power up. Of course, I don't really see any reason for those kind of things to come back, because, like, really the population of people who cares about a good Socratic hint system is so small compared to the people who will just be like, oh yeah, I'll just go to YouTube and find a playthrough. Which can come with its own problems of, wait, why does that work? What did they even do to get here? Because I can tell you right now, a non-trivial number of people have used my Reverie moderation videos as a walkthrough. Oh yeah, actually, I mentioned it earlier, but I may as well mention it again. No. The last of the QLDC videos went out today on my YouTube, which is nice. That's finally done with. Does mean I can schedule things a bit more easily. Been lazy about adding more stuff. Need to find someone to give your group hints on blueprints. See, that also works pretty well. Like, you can actually ask somebody. That's happened more than a few times where I've been, like, streaming something and be like, just tell me this. Give me, answer this question I have. Ow. There has to be a less painful way to do that. Because, like, I'm getting really tired of holding down. Like, really looking forward to getting out of here just so I'm not holding down most of the time. Okay. Yeah, if I'd played Blueprints, I would be happy to oblige, but I haven't. Okay, yeah, I kind of just ran for it. That has got to be the funniest way I've died in this yet. Got shoved through the floor of spikes. That's the thing, though. You build consistency. It was indeed a quality death. Today was a good day to die. Okay, wait a cycle. I wonder how many people have died that specific way, because I think you can get hurt by walking into the spray, but there's no place here to actually test out that theory without it being painful, so I'm not going to. Okay. The spray can hurt you. Tweet of the day. Timberborn, add an API system to the game. You can now affect automation with HTTP levels and adapters. Interesting. I'm not familiar with Timberborn. It does sound kind of fun, though. Do remember going to someone's tech talk about using, like, having real-world things affect things in Second Life back when people thought that was a good idea. I don't think anyone cares about Second Life anymore. But it was a fun little tech talk, just showing off, like, how he had a physical gate on his, like, home that he would unlock, and it would unlock the physical gate in the game space itself. Since, was it Linden Labs did give some level of API access for this kind of thing? Timberborn is Factorio with beavers. No. Okay, well, that's still a really good idea. Factorio with beavers, I'm not gonna lie. Tim, get on it. RimWorld with Hydro Engineering. Haven't played RimWorld either. The only one of those I've played, really, is Factorio. I've got the other one, the spacey engineer type one. I forget what that one's called, though. It's featured numerous times on Let's Game It Out. Nope. Satisfactory, thank you. What's up, Scrumbular? As with a great number of things in life, I could be playing that right now, but I'm not. Having opted instead to play a hack of a ancient children's game. This... which surprises... probably should surprise no one, really. I don't care. Mario 2 for the Sega Dreamcast. You can really feel the bits. What is being asked of me here? Okay, well that wasn't what I was being asked of me. I need to throw it that way. Okay. I got the H. I'm pretty happy. Shell jump, obviously. Thank you. Oh my. Okay, well... okay, I can do that. Pabst Blue Mario. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Ooh. Dude, they are still way too enamored with that one blue ribbon they got like a billion years ago. I didn't expect that to happen. Now, one of my favorite, like, stupid movies is called Midnight Madness. And in it, they go to the Pabst Brewery as part of their great all-nighter puzzle gamey thing. Hosted by Leon. Leon! And one of the dudes falls into a beer tank and doesn't die, of course. It's a Disney movie. But, you know, they have to recover him, and he's drunk. It's the frat boys, because every character in that movie is some classic cliche. You've got the frat boys who are all football players, and you have Meat Machine! You've got the nerds who literally wear pocket protectors and ride mopeds, and the angry feminists who are unhappy that the football players had the jocks frat boys had ruined their party. And then the obnoxious villains who are, well, obnoxious cliché villains. Yeah, I did it right for once. Okay. I see. This is a puzzle. I understand puzzles. Old DOS games. Any favorite edutainment? Oh, absolutely. EcoQuest. Like, I think that game still kind of holds up. Plus or minus a little bit of 90s weirdness, but you know. Just the end of duck jump. Huh, I wonder how close I was to the end. EcoQuest 2 doesn't really work as well, and in part because they didn't... Like, it's just not as well thought out. And it's a bit sillier. Oh, the movie's music is really good. This button mashing was poorly received. Yeah, this level in the this section, the last, they're making my hand hurt. Like, I feel like the only reasonable way to do this is, like, claw grip. But I'm also really bad at claw gripping. Nope. EcoQuest memes. That's why SC2 has none. I appreciate hearing that. No, like I said, I got to see the beta version at GDQ, and everything I saw and played, I liked. That little book came with all the eco-conscious things you could do, and then check them off as stickers. Oh, that's cute. EcoQuest 2 is funny, in part because they wanted the kid to grow up a little bit, and they do this by letting him get him... Like, he looks like a stereotypical, like, kid you would see in a commercial for, like, Burger King now. He's got a mullet. He wears a red shirt. EcoQuest 2 also has the most confounding opening sequence of all time, where, like, you're in line for customs in some Amazonian country, I forget which one it is, and, like, the guy in front of you is Mary Poppins. He's just friggin' Mary Poppins. He starts pulling all this random crap out of his suitcase, like a giant lamp and a vacuum cleaner, and the customs guy is just confused, and then eventually pulls out a big bunch of balloons and flies away. Like, the whole thing sounds like a fever dream, in part because it kind of is. But, like, the main loops and things, you don't really get to revisit areas in Eco 2. And also, like, the villainy is so on the nose. Like, quite literally, the villain for the game is named Mr. Slaughter. And you eventually get access to, like, his book. Like, his PDA or something, or his, like, little black book of phone numbers, and, like, he's friends with Hitler. Like, it's so on the nose, it hurts. Really hope I might be able to ride that one out. Yeah, there's a section in the middle where, like, you have to escape from this dude who's captured you because, you know, that they're doing, like, oil extraction for some reason. And, like, that part is long and tedious and has stealth bits. And one of those bits is you have to discover underneath his white tiger rug that he left his little black book of stuff, and you need it to get into his computer or something, I forget. It's been a while since I played EcoQuest 2. This interesting tidbit about that is that when I played it, I played the DOS version because I thought the Windows version wouldn't work. Turns out I was dumb. You just need to change modes in the Windows version before you play it. That makes sense. So had I downgraded my mode to 640, 480 in the first place, it would have worked just fine. And would have worked a lot better. Okay. Oh, what? I couldn't figure out what I was going to do there. Alright, well, we're making progress, kind of, as long as my fingers don't cramp. Any other educational things? So I also, this isn't DOS era, but I actually really did enjoy it. It's the Magic School Bus, like, visits the solar system. I think I played that at the library and really enjoyed it. Like, and half of it is a platforming game where, like, you're doing stuff. So I've actually played on stream recently-ish. One of my April Fool's Day things was like, no, we're doing educational software now, because clearly that's the future of Twitch, which is usually what I try to do for April Fool's Day things, but I haven't done any in a while, because last time it was April Fool's Day, I was on a train to Japan, which was not, in any way, shape, or form, an April Fool. Treasure Mountain, yeah, I remember the Treasure Mountain games. I don't think they were actually educational by any stretch of the imagination, but I do recall them. Like, the key thing in the 90s was, like, if we can include some kind of multimedia, let's just do it. Which I think was interesting, at least. Like Encarta. Encarta included so much stuff. It didn't have to. Also, Mind Maze was a lot of fun, actually. I played a version of Mind Maze, but it was like the Windows 3.1 version was really weird. It had like a lion in a wheelchair. I think that was really funny. Okay. What? Oh my god, okay. Nope. I just took off. Do weird stuff in the mountain and masked. Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah, I feel like the educational software thing had moved into the multimedia domain by the time Windows like 95 had really gotten moving, because like CD-ROM drives were so cool. An awful lot of the earlier educational software was very much driven by like people programming Apple IIs and the likes, because I guess there was some sort of like educational subsidy to get them into classrooms at some point, I don't know when. And so an awful lot of it was like, well, of course you need to focus on the Apple version first, because that's the one the kids are going to play. And so you've got, like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? And bizarrely, where in North Dakota is Carmen Sandiego? Which I still haven't played, and I suspect I would learn a lot, because I know very little about North Dakota in general. Because most people know very little about North Dakota. There's not that much to know. I've driven through it. I got a speeding ticket. I wasn't happy. That was definitely not how you do that part. Though actually, as far as speeding tickets I got was kind of nice. Yeah, specifically North Dakota. Basically, some teachers in a North Dakota district just basically called up the people who were doing Carmen Sandiego and like, hey, can we do one of these for us? And like, yeah, why not? And so the teachers went and did a bunch of research, turned it into a North Dakota almanac. All of the villains were patterned after themselves. Museum Madness? I don't think I've ever played that. I think I've heard of Museum Madness. What's up, Heroin Softy? How you doing? Look, it was a weird time in software. I don't think that helped. Oh, there's the overhang. That prevents what I want to do there. I'm debating whether or not it might be worth it to just... No, it's not worth it to take the hit there, because inevitably I'm going to do something stupid elsewhere. My fingers are hurting. Patterning the villains after themselves. Crazy and cool, every state has its own... It would have been cool. That was the idea at first, and I don't think it panned out. I think it was more or less they wanted, like, reasonable villains, and, you know, seeing your teacher as a villain is a cute thing for a kid. Interactive almanac to learn about each state. Yeah, it would be cool. Some of them would be longer than others. Such as North Dakota's. Oh. Messed that up. Sup, Mary Lane. Thank you for the raid. How's the stream? What were you up to? Hope it was something fun. Fries isn't here, so I'll just do this. Sup, DJMB. We are talking about North Dakota and why my thumb hurts, which are not related concepts. But yeah. We are presently talking about educational software from the 80s and 90s, because it was an interesting time. People had this idea that software could really teach children things. And then we realized that it's really bad at that and we stopped trying. I'm pretty sure. I'm not really sure what the state of the art vis-a-vis educational software is anymore. Mostly because I've aged out of that particular domain by a long shot, and I suspect it's mostly done on mobile devices nowadays. I imagine the homeschool stuff's gotten better, but, like, bar wasn't high there. Please overshoot me. Ah, no. This is a level? Yeah. I have to say, of all of the levels I've enjoyed the least, this might be pretty high up there. Like, the mashing is getting old, the holding down is getting old. But this is Subcon 1. Subcon 2 is due soon-ish. Glitchcat has not made a actual release date, but my understanding is soon, based upon discussions at GDQ. So I wanted to beat Subcon 1 before Subcon 2 came out, which I think is a reasonable thing to try. There was also Sim Refinery, which was released and then taken away from us briefly. But basically it was how to run an oil refinery, the game. Which I think is fascinating given how many people would actually want to play such a thing nowadays, given that games like Satisfactory exist. Well, or Factorio. Okay, yep. Got placed the computer to do entertainment games because you had already grasped math? Yep. I know the feeling. Or because you were the kid who had a computer at home, and so you knew how to computer when other people did not. Alright, I guess this part's free, but you're still gonna try to do it legit. Alright, we have a thing here. Maybe I should let the shell go first. Just maybe. Nope. Alright, well, I understand the gimmick here. We just have to execute. Oh, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. Oh my god, I'm really hoping for any other character. Because, man, my hands hurt. Peach! Peachy! Oh. Okay, we start with a Birdo. It's a nicer Birdo, so I assume what we need to do is get an egg in the right direction. Oh yeah, because I could hover there, couldn't I? Thanks for the GGs. Egg. Ow. Is it odd this is making me hungry? All the 1-ups. I mean, the thing is, those are impossible to get. I'm pretty sure that what Glitchcat intended for the 1-ups was to, like, be a you can't go this way, you will die kind of thing. But I'm not quite sure. Apparently I also just can't jump on a dang Birdo. But we've already seen this mechanic elsewhere. The 1-ups are hiding something mechanic. I pressed the wrong button. It'd be cool if I could land on Birdo without getting hurt. But I'm not doing a good job of it. Oh, right, I shouldn't have done that. I think I'm learning what you're supposed to do. Not that. Anyway. There is one, like, edutainment title. Why did the egg pause? That I think would be fun to play, but my understanding is that it's incredibly difficult. It's called Rocky's Boots, of all things. But basically, it is effectively a complete course on electronics development, disguised as an Apple II game. Basically way above the kids' pay... Oh, for Pete's sake, pay grade. Yeah, this is a cool level because, like, the egg riding is fun. And unlike other objects, the egg pauses when you get hurt. which is interesting to me. Because things like the shell and all of our assorted Shy Guys do not pause. So when I get hit, the egg... Well, I can't show off there if I mess up the jump. The egg pauses when I get hurt. So, like, in Mario World, you notice whenever you get hurt, the world pauses. Thanks to Gigi, I'm very pleased to be out of that room. More accurately, my thumb is very pleased to be out of that room. My left thumb, specifically. Digital logic design homework disguised as an SMW. I might have? There was, at least for one C3, like, a Mario dude just showing off the, basically developing wires and stuff that you could use for little electronics puzzles. And that would be fun. Don't believe it level was sort of a learning mistake. It happens. We got out of it. This takes time. I'm actually curious, though. I'd love to see that one, because that would be fun in my book to go do, because, you know, I like SMW hacks. And I don't mind digital design homework, digital logic design homework, disguised as video games. Though I have my beefs with some games that are like that, because I think they're a little too on the nose. Like, in Last Call BBS, there was a section that was clearly... Oh. Well... Nope. That was clearly based around that concept. I mean, there were two of them. There was the plug board, cafeteria, whatever that one was called. And that one I didn't care as much for, because basically you couldn't actually color the wires. You couldn't pick the wire colors, and that drove me nuts. Like, a big part of doing any sort of breadboardy type work, which is what they're kind of emulating here, is getting your wires right and making sure you understand what you're doing. And if you don't let me color the wires, that's a problem. Because I want to be able to express certain ideas in terms of what color the wire is. And I can't do that if you randomly assign wire colors. Okay. There we go. That level was a pleasure. We'll see what the next one's about. That is one slow-moving egg. Oh, I missed something important there. I did not. Okay, backseeing Eldad, noticing clock diagrams was a fun... I have that. Super logical. Have I not played this? Why have I not played this? Let me check if I played this. I've not played this. Oh man, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know how I missed this. Training hack on digital computer logic concepts from logic and arithmetic equations. Operations to combinational and sequential systems. Nothing too complex, just basic stuff. Knowledge of digital logic is important to progress. However, regular players can figure things out. Made this hack for students as a fun exercise, but thought might share with the wider community. Subs include digital logic operations and or not XOR, arithmetic, binary operations, add, subtract, hexadecimal numbers, kernel maps. Ooh, I love a good kernel map. With and without don't cares, which is kind of the key thing for kernel maps. Decoders, multipliers, multiplexers, and flip-flops, both D and T. I just feel like people don't put their best foot forward in these pictures, and I don't know why. Like, seriously, no one cares you made a world map that looks very similar to the original world map. This was accepted before we required unique world maps, but still, having half of your pictures be the world map is something. Like, why would I care about your title screen? Oh, I got hurt and I didn't notice. Oh well. I'm probably gonna die via falling off here anyway, so... I needed that egg. I didn't need the egg, but I could have used it. Yeah, kernel maps are one of those things I haven't thought about in years, just because, like, man, I don't do enough stuff that involves that kind of nonsense. Very true again in screenshots. It's true. And that's the thing, is like, this is the first bit of the game that anyone is going to see when they pull up your hack on SMW Central. Why wouldn't you show something cool? Like, Title screen, I get. You gotta show the title screen just because, like, you want to show the title screen. I get that. But, like, show me a level! Okay, well. Okay, well, I've learned the important things. I definitely need the egg. Do eggs respawn? They do. Okay, I need to be moving faster there. Okay. Yeah, this is a not optional egg. I guess I could try... Is that... No, I'm not. I would not be able to get through there with that egg. Okay, well, I was just hoping to get a little more information. But yeah, Carnal maps are basically a way of expressing logical operations that might seem complicated and you want to minimize. And it's a good method for minimizing the amount of stuff you have to do with respect to that. You basically draw out a square, or possibly set of squares, with all of your inputs and what they're supposed to do. What state you expect to be in there, more or less, in a digital form. And of course you have your don't cares, and then you can kind of draw circles around it to turn these things into, like, ands and knots and things. It's a really clever concept. But it's been years since I've used them. Since, like, my first year in college. It's not first year, it was second year. But anyway. Excellent tool if you need to do digital logic. But pretty much only if. You know, there were a lot of things I could have done differently there. I think that first egg is a little mean. Puts you on the timer. Something I'm beginning to think is just a smart move. Missed again. Well, I can try that one again in its entirety. Oh, wait, I need to wait for it to fall, too. Okay, well, mistakes are made. It's a very different kind of level from the last one. Not the last one with Peach, but the one with Luigi. Actually, I won't be doing Mario tomorrow. It occurs to me I've already made a promise to Desi for the playing of the original Metroid. We'll continue seeing if I can get that dang power-up in Kraid somewhere. What's going to be disappointing is I'm going to get down there. It's going to be something like a single missile tank, and I'm just going to be like, I did all this work for a missile tank. Okay, can I at least get through here? Yes. Okay, well, at least we can see what's up. Again, this is what I like about most of the levels in this. You get to pick your shot. Oh no? Which thing? Metroid? I gotta say, there's only one thing I really dislike about the original Metroid, and it's that you always start with 30 HP. So I don't really feel like I've gotten substantially stronger whenever I die. So you have to go and farm up all of your HP back every time, which gets old quick. I did also fix up a bunch of bugs relating to the integration stuff, so that'll be nice. Oh, I need a bigger jump there. We'll see if it still crashes the game, or corrupts VRAM. I don't really have a lot of latitude on that. Fistbit gave his one useful suggestion, but otherwise couldn't find any problems with how I'm handling things. I'll probably turn on the thing he suggested, because basically there's no downside to doing that. There was a separate code path that I didn't end up using, that I'm just going to basically throw away. So remove, basically make something a branch never, or whatever. Fun fact in 6502, there's a few instructions that are kind of silly. There's one that's like branch always, BRA, and branch never, and basically you could use those to kind of like do jumps in your code that are still relative offsets, which can matter for some things when you're doing stuff. You might want the code to be completely relocatable, and BRAs are easier to relocate than jumps, because jumps are always absolute, or they're mostly absolute, is probably the best way to phrase it. Rogue Dawn many years ago and enjoyed it. You never came close to getting through Metroid 1. I mean, I did already make progress. I beat Kraid. So in terms of, like, the game's logical progression, I have successfully completed half of it. But there's always a but. Almost in the room, at least. Yeah, I thought that was the case. Yeah. Well, I also did it wrong, as I was told repeatedly after the fact. You're supposed to... What is happening here? What you're supposed to do is go through other places first and find more useful items. And I didn't do any of that. Why is this all icy? How... Can I not jump? GG 5-room castle time. Bounced so hard from that. Yeah, I mean, generally my goal was to find reasonable farm places. Oh, wait, hold on. We learned stuff. Ah! It's slippery? No, that wasn't it. Thanks for the GGs. But yeah, finding farming spots was the kind of key thing. What I might do in the future, I'm not sure, is like get myself a save state after I finish farming. Just to stop being annoyed. That's a bomb. No, you didn't! Okay, that worked. Don't love you, little fry guy. Alright, so that's 2 rooms down. That didn't help. Okay, which one's gonna be which? This is the bomb. That gonna work? No! It's another bomb! Well, at least I took it. Oh, I didn't even take the fry guy with me. Too small of drops. I know, 5 HP for most drops is so disappointing. And then I think Desi told me an important aspect of it was that, like, you could run out of drops in a given room. And there's a couple of times when I died because I ran out and was like, oh, I don't want to go in this room is dangerous, and went into the other room. Got a really good clip of me walking into Kraid and just straight up dying because I did not know what to do. And somehow it managed to moonwalk my way into the lava pit right next to Kraid. Or the quinoa pit, or whatever I was calling it. It's not the play. But yeah, I just ended up moonwalking. I was holding the opposite direction. You have no idea how miffed I was. Like, why did this happen? How did this happen? Even know about pre-allocated drops? I mean, it's not a very fun system. I'd be curious to know why they decided on these things. Like, the 30 HP thing is just absurd. That is just too little. Oh, he had my number. Honestly, knowing it's 5 rooms is actually a very heartening thing. Oh. Whoops. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I've also played a decent amount of Zero missions, so I kind of know what you're supposed to do at certain points. Not that it has actually helped me to a large degree. Because Zero Mission is, in fact, a different game. Didn't duck. Also jumped way too late. Early. One direction. But yeah, Zero Mission, I think, definitely took ideas and map from the original Metroid and made it a better game. Simply based off of removing a lot of pain points. And, like, I don't really get why the original Metroid needed these pain points. Because when you think about it, it's not a game people would have played as a rental back then, because it was an FDS system game. So, like, the longer they played it, the worse it is for the economy around the idea of the Famicom disk system, if that makes a sort of sense. Because, like, the idea was, like, Nintendo got you on the discs, and then every time you swapped out a game, they would, you know, charge you again for this. You go to your local 7-Eleven, Family Mart, what have you, and you swap out your game at the official Famicom disc swapping thing. I presume the 7-Eleven got some amount of money out of this. I don't know how the economics have worked, but, like, you want kids to swap games, so maybe making it so frustrating that they don't want to play it makes a good amount of sense. These guys are aggressive. And I missed. What's annoying is I got this room like the first try and haven't subsequently done it very well in the last memory. What? Okay, I didn't expect him to actually bridge the gap. What's up, jQuery? Another reason I'm playing this game is I'm too lazy to hook up to switch out to the Super Nintendo. There we go. I have set me up the bomb. Oh, the one time I actually got it. That was a PB. It's not a very good one. There we go. Just unlucky. You know? It's the nature of it. Oh. Peach. E is how that sentence ended, I guess. Just peachy! What was I gonna say? Like, quite literally, I started the syllable for the p sound, and then immediately, like, my brain just paged out whatever information I was going to use. It's like, yeah, peachy! Anyway. I've started doing a little bit of Zelda hacking, though I don't think I'm going to do Zelda, the other Desi request, very soon. But more of a looking at stuff preliminary and getting some things set up so that when I'm back on the East Coast I can work on it. Whoops. It looks as going to be a little more difficult because I don't have an awful lot of stuff in space in Bank 7 that I can immediately pull out. I have Fistbit's disassembly, which is a high-quality disassembly, but I'm still beyond that. I have to find space for the things I want. Are you kidding me? The things I want to do. And unlike the Super Nintendo, space isn't space. On the original Nintendo, space in the fixed bank is most holy. Which is Bank 7 in both the case of Zelda and Metroid. I think sometimes it's Bank 0, but usually Bank 7. For MMC3 games. Which I think was like the most common mapper, period. Don't quote me on that. I didn't realize I could end up over here. I didn't really want to be here. What? No! got in the gap! Okay, there's a fireball there. Alright, well, that was room 4. We saw room 4. That's what matters. Anyway. Ah, that was a mess up. Oh, those are spikes! I couldn't really tell because of the dark palette. For some reason, I thought it was grass. Huh. Ow. I don't love these things. And they don't like me either. Oh man. I'm getting hungry. Didn't eat that much today. Mostly a leftover pizza. So I had some pizza late last night. Should have waited. Had the corned beef and cabbage yesterday. If I get moving early, nah, I probably won't do that tomorrow. Not sure what I'll do tomorrow. Might be a salad day. I haven't had a good salad in a while. There we go. There we go. And I'm big. That's a spike. Right. I couldn't see it. That's my John. I technically threw it, it just didn't matter. Anyway. Just working my way down the list, trying to figure out which ones I'd actually do decently if I were to do them on the East Coast. And I think the only one that's currently on there that makes sense is Hero Soft's. Because he made a, apparently relatively well-regarded, I think somewhat unfinished, that's Wario Land 4 hack, I believe? My question really with that is, may need to learn how to Wario Land first. Because, like, it's just not a game I know that much about. I think we're just gonna sandbag that one. Like, I never really played any of the Mario or Wario Land games much more than, like, I would have at Sears. Because that was a thing for a long time. It was like, yeah, we're going to go do this thing at the mall. I would like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Sears, because that's where the games are set up. This was the electronics department in a way. Because that was right next to the spot where they sold watches at Sears. Not really sure how those ideas fit together, but that's what they were. It's the place you bought a watch or a Super Nintendo. I think I'm safe here. Yes. Duck under fireballs. Okay, we kind of messed that up a little bit. Oh, wow. Okay. Sup, Fry Guy? Okay, how is this gonna work? This is a plug. I'm gonna need to reuse this, I think is the answer. No! I'm gonna guess there isn't a save here. And I'm gonna have to go through all that again. Yup! Ow. Oh well, at least I know what I'm doing now. Mostly. Okay. Come over here. Make it so he has to take 2 jumps to get to me. That was basically the best throw you could possibly get for that. Look at these rooms are small. Crap. Doesn't even let me skip a section. Mistakes are made. Whew. Okay. I just like Fry Guy more in SMB2 than I do in SMW. Because, like, basically no one ever makes interesting Fry Guy bosses. They make ones that are horrifically painful or are basically non-existent. There's only ever been one Fry Guy boss that I've ever liked. And it was in a hack of Jamie's that he abandoned a while ago. But I tested at some point, I forget why. Because I was online, I suppose. Probably still have it on one of my flashcard cards. But alas. I wonder if we'll ever finish Your Uncle's Closet. Mostly because I want to see the Zig boss. Like, actually completed. I was listening to some Everhood stuff the other day, just as Everhood has good music. I was like, yes, this is good stuff. Which again makes me think, I really should play Everhood too. But then I don't. Okay. Well, I'm kind of safe. No! Might be time for a stand-up break when I'm in a room that's stable. Like, this room is stable. I could stand here indefinitely and things would be fine. There we go. Oh, shoot! I think it might be time for a quick stand-up break. I could use... Alright, well, after next attempt. I'm not taking a hit in this room. That's not happening. It simply is not happening. There we go. Oh, I was supposed... Well, whatever. Next attempt. Legitimately forgot what I was gonna do. One, two... No! 1, 2... Yeah, it's, it's a failure. I can't even die, right? Yeah, next time I get to a stable location, we're just gonna take a short break. I mean, technically speaking, that's a stable location, but I think this is a better one. Alright. See if that works. I don't know if it's gonna work. Takes some time sometimes. Nope, it's not gonna work. Alas. One of those things I really should check before going live is whether or not the BRB will work. It has something to do with Windows deciding to just stop drawing some things sometimes. Like, you haven't used this in a while, I'm gonna stop drawing it. I'm like, okay, well, it's just a small thing, just keep drawing it. But oh well. Indeed. Effing Windows, indeed. Yeah, anyway. I will be right back. We are back. And let's try this again. Don't you love it when the guy gets the immediate right jump? Just annoying. Ooh. Okay. No. Well, not my best showing when I got back. Anyway, this was an April 1st overlay I made. I probably should come up with something for this April 1st, but I don't know if I have the time or inclination to work on one of them. I have an idea, but it's not a very good one. Or accurate, like, I need to get it to come together in less than a week. Which I guess... got time Friday. I might be able to pull it off, we'll see. But... hopefully I'll be in town on April 1st is more or less the thing. There we go. We did it. Really wish those weren't spikes. And you get that first cycle. That's cool. And we get a heart here! I forgot! That's why I was getting demoralized. That was only one plug, and it's this one. Didn't even hit him. Ah! Well, I got one hit in. I'm not a fan of that one. I just thought, this is a concept I'm just not a huge fan of. The, let's make you go through a longish gauntlet of different rooms than to fight a weird boss. Just as a concept, I don't like having to go and redo things before boss fights, and I don't know why. It's not like it takes that long per room. Like, each room's fairly quick. Provided you understand, like, the one-ish cycle. Which I messed up there. Because I kept expecting him to jump further. There we go. I don't know why I did that timing. 2, 3. I jumped one too early. What are other NES like games I would play, given the time and inclination? I might play Lolo. Didn't duck. Still didn't duck. I kind of like the Adventures of Lolo as a block pusher, but I've already got a block pusher on my list, so no. I need to finish Torovan before heading back, because it doesn't work on macOS. I don't... well, nuts. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, it does give me a message about how I can't pre-compile a particular shader, which I presume has to do with it, but it works on Linux. Do you think that would be enough? But I guess not. I wonder what the logic for these little dudes are. I legitimately have no idea what he's gonna do next in terms of like long hops, short hops, whether he aims for me or aims a little bit past me. Does seem to be consistent in a way. I'll just get rid of that. There we go. It's like the one room where I'm like completely comfortable taking a hit. Because I know I'm getting it back! Oh. Okay, it's friggin' Fry Guy. This shouldn't be this hard. Too early. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not solid? Oh, okay. Oh, no. No! I got stuck on the floor. And the fry guys seem to be the mini guys seem to be having problems. Which was good for me. F indeed. It was close though. I now have something resembling a strategy for that section. It's also just nice sometimes to not be on ice all the time. Keep clipping that. Learning how to uncycle. Hey. Well... Okay, here's the idea. Let's group them up all over here. What's up, Groovy Gadget? How you doing? Recurrent... No! And then one always seems to escape. It takes them a long time to climb the pyramid. Of course. Of course that didn't work. Oh wait, I can be inside of the pyramid. I seemingly can't. Tears of Kingdom on nice. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I still haven't played any of the modern Zeldas. I've heard good things. Fistbit periodically tries to convince me, and I don't. That didn't go well. I've seen that one video of Darkside Phil completely and utterly abysmally misunderstanding how to solve a puzzle. Which is kind of impressive, given that the puzzle was a fairly obvious one. Like, it's not like it was some sort of fiendish, and then you need to interpret this through the ends of the Mayan calendar kind of thing. It was literally just like, put the balls in a box. Like, that's not hard. Like I said, it's literally the only thing I know about that game and or him. Balls in a box. I think the only thing I've heard about Darkside Phil that really makes sense to me is he's the reason we have yellow paint everywhere. Darn it! Has he tried returning the slap? I don't know. Like I told you, all I saw was that comparison, like him versus a VTuber. VTuber demonstrates curiosity and creative problem solving, and using the exact items that were set up in the room to help you solve the puzzle. DSP moves the balls by hand and then whines about it. Like, what's the puzzle? I don't get it! Bowser Fire? It's not Bowser Fire, it's, I presume it's, Birdo Fire. I'm not really sure about other sources. I guess there's that weird like, thing you can ride that also shoots fire sometimes in, like, World 4. Don't get it. Yeah, Arvin. I miss doing Arvin's voice. Like, he's got the best voice for that entire game. Nuts. Yeah, I don't know what the fire is, where the fire comes from, because, like, Bowser Fire is not a thing in this game. Because there's no Bowser. How can one have Bowser Fire with no Bowser? Crap. Cannon fires? Okay. Beep, beep. Beep, beep, I'm sheep. I say beep, beep, I'm sheep. Wait. Okay. Well, not quite what I intended to do. Yeah, he wasn't 2 jumps away there. Didn't mean to jump. Say meow meow. I'm just part of the ADSF movie, whatever number they're up to now. I'll link to one of the ADSF movie songs for my judging sheet. I was actually surprised at how many, like, links I needed for the judging sheet. Because what happens when I do those, like, I put a reference and I just put an empty anchor tag in, fully expecting myself to know exactly what I meant to do with this after the fact. And yeah, I think the one I'm happiest about was I was going to use the Wikipedia definition of something, but then I found out that there was United States Supreme Court definition of that thing, and I'm like, well, of course I got to use the Supreme Court one. There's one recently. I think you're right. I will say, I think of his work. Oh god. That I've enjoyed recently. I really did enjoy. It's the juice that makes your head explode a bit. Okay. Let's just sign your silent movement pad. No need to freak. You ever think it's kind of funny that the fire boss was the boss? I can't believe that didn't hit me. What? No, why did you... Oh, probably because I don't actually have any momentum because of the friggin' ice! Yeah, that's the answer. Because I have no momentum due to the freaking ice. Can I retrieve this object? Yes. Crap. Gotta use scrotums. Huh. That's the sentence of the century. If you can't beat 'em, scrotum. Thank you, I'll be here all week. Try the veal. Didn't finish which thought. The Supreme Court one? Yeah, the Supreme Court one is actually pretty good. Basically, apparently at some point the word Calvin ball was used in regards to some court case, and they have a nice explanation as to what Calvin ball means, and I think that's hilarious. Nuts. Yeah, Ice World. Well, I think if I recall correctly, Fry Guy wasn't even in the original. Like, he was a boss added explicitly for Mario 2 as opposed to Doki Doki Panic. Which makes the whole thing even more inexplicable. Like, someone at Nintendo, okay, we need a boss. Gotcha, I'll make one right now, I got a great idea. It's for Ice World. That's not gonna stop me. I mess that up. could not let go of it. Of course, it's not icy when you actually fight him, which helps a lot. In fact, I don't recall ice as a mechanic in Mario 2 all that much, but I also would always skip over things. Like, whenever I played this game, I'd always do the warps, so I don't think I've ever really played through the ice world, because it's one of the most easily skippable level. Well, that could have gone better. Original iteration of Freeze Flame. That does remind me, I need to see about getting that Mario pack. You go through a very short amount of 4-1, though. Like, quite literally, you get into 4-1 and you leave. Yeah, I need to see about trying to get that Galaxy hack to work properly. Because it was such a bummer that it just crashed out at, like, the last level. Looked like a cool level, too! It's not gonna work. He jumped weirdly. He jumped Beardly? No, I said Abe Lincoln. There we go. Okay. Say I didn't think that through, but then I did, apparently. Which one's your favorite? I mean, I don't know about, like, specifically Galaxy versus Galaxy 2. Which one's the favorite? Galaxy, in a given one. I hit him! Don't know why I tried that. It's just arriving at high speed from the other side of the screen is still hilarious to me. Oh no! I had that, I was just facing the wrong way. Okay, now we wait. Now we hit one. No! Oh my god, I hate these things. I hate them so much! About 300k? Oh, nice. That's a lot. Beach Bowl Galaxy. Beach Bowl Galaxy's fun. Kind of like the Bee Galaxy. The Bee Galaxy was fun. Bee Mario is just a really good concept. Toy Time? Is Toy Time the one where you do the giant Mario thing? Ugh. Okay. No! Yeah, the giant Mario thing I remember being one of, like, the bigger challenges in there that wasn't, like, Comet-related, though its Comet was also a challenging one. Getting all of the stuff, all of the purple coins within to the relatively small time limit in a relatively dangerous place. Just remember that being kind of fun. Buoy Base. Yeah, Buoy Base was also pretty cool. That was amazing because I did it all wrong and it still worked out because ice physics. I'm not actually 100% at it either. Because, like, both of them require doing an awful lot of stuff that is kind of annoying. Like, the Luigi stars in Galaxy 2 are not exactly that enthralling. And then Mario Galaxy 1's like, hey, you want to do it all again? With Luigi this time? And you're like, not really. Well, that guy's doing funny things. I win. I win as long as I can get the dang door. Where is the door? Oh. It's a Mario time. 7-1. Did we jumped a bit, didn't we? Oh god. What was I doing? I didn't need to be ducking. Probably. Thanks for the GGs. Let me do something smart really quick and just save state just in case so I don't lose it in the event that I want this later. I mean, it does save. I forgot to hold Y. Boy, I need that key. I don't know, I think I mildly prefer 1 over 2, but it's a very mild preference. I need to throw the key. Because it makes me bonk. Not sure exactly what you're supposed to do, but that worked. The hell was that? Were those wart bubbles? Fish? 2 for slightly better levels. I don't know. I kind of liked the bigger levels in Mario Galaxy. Like, ones that had like 7 and change shines. Much more fleshed out. Shine, moon, you know, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. This is the level where Glitch Cat realized these were in the game. And now we have to play it. Also point out, water orbs rob you of your forward momentum. Your upward momentum. I'm trying to decide if I want to try to finish this now, or if I'm worried about my hands. Looking forward to Galaxy. And the great shines you find there. I mean, they did the bit in Odyssey where that one level you got stars instead of moons. That's actually one I could probably play again now. It's been enough years that I've forgotten enough of Odyssey if I wanted to do a playthrough. Or maybe I'd play the Meowser game. Bowser's cat-based revenge. That reminds you. What does that remind you? Oh. Yeah, Bowser's furry? Yeah, exactly. That's why he's a cat. What? I mean, didn't they already do that bit with that one, oh, wait, whoops. Didn't they already do that with that one, Mario world where everyone gets Raccoon Tail Mario? Mario 63 hack for Galaxy 2? Tell me more! Like, I have the Wii U out, so I'm kind of curious about such things, though I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to find the time precisely to do some of the things. I'm finally doing something on Sunday that I've threatened to do for a number of years. And that is, we're doing puzzles again, because it's been years since we've done puzzles. I need to jump. Yeah, 3D Land. That's the one where everyone gets raccoon tails. Why should it surprise you that Bowser's decided to upgrade and get a fursuit instead? But the problem with this obstacle was I initially read it the opposite way, and that I thought that the stuff was coming the other way. I don't know why I tried that. I know it's not going to work. What puzzles? Puzzle boat 6? 7? I forget. It's been years, literally. How do I know? Because I lost my puzzle management system at the very beginning of 2023. But they're foggy puzzles, so expect mostly what you'd expect from a PNA magazine style thing. His puzzles are pretty much always in the form of a PDF, even when they're not a PDF. So, like, quite literally, it's like, yeah, here's a link to the real puzzle in the PDF, just because that's how he's built his software. He's not a software guy. His website, as far as I know, last checked, still runs PHP. Though he did learn Cold Fusion for Puzzle Boat 1, which is a web framework that nobody has used in probably like 15 years. A link to the puzzle? I could give you a link to the puzzle if you want. Sure. Puzzle. Yeah, they're up to Puzzle Boat 12. Actually, don't remember what the last one is. I don't remember my password. Saved password for this? It doesn't matter. I can log in with one of the things. Puzzle Boat Willy. That'd be fun. No, the first Puzzle Boat was basically about being on like a cruise ship, and you had to... all of the meta puzzles answers were some sort of vague celebrity. Foggy took it down because there was a celebrity he didn't like in there anymore. That is a really hard obstacle. But doing a bit? Oh, yeah. Well, no worries. Like I said, you can take a look at what Foggy does. He used to do a monthly, bi-monthly magazine, which is why it's called P&A Magazine. Puzzle and Answer. And each time it'd be some sort of puzzle as well as a little meta puzzle. So like 5 puzzles in total. Similar to Puzzle Pint, if you've ever heard of that. Huh. I just noticed something funny, but I can't point it out again until I die. Pat didn't understand. God, then why would ads be playing all the time? Oh, you! I can take that for a hit. Didn't jump. Take a shot every time you don't understand something. In the beginning... oh, shoot. Drinking games that would kill you. Legend of Zelda, A Link to a Puzzle. Oh, look at the coloring right behind the life stuff right here. It's weird because it's just... oh, that's the door I fell out of. Alright, well, I understand it now. What? Got a call. Oh, no worries. I died a lot. Oh, just tell me more. Is there a link somewhere? I was just basically saying, like, hey, I'm always curious about these things. Especially since I might have to set up, like, Dolphin and try to figure out how to Dolphin. To finish that other hack, because it doesn't seem to want to work in a on the Wii U. Though I was going to I did have a couple ideas about stuff to try first before giving up entirely. I don't know how to do this job, so I'm just going to do that. Dang it. And what Dolphin's setup is probably going to look like is I'm going to take my laptop and try to... one of my MacBooks and try to capture the audio or the video that way. Because I don't have a Bluetooth receiver in this computer. Like, I built it before that became, like, a thing. And so, like, we remotes don't really have a way to be plugged in. So I just grabbed the other laptop and would just kind of go to town. Which ironically might also be the way that I would handle such a thing if I were to do it on the road. Loop it back. That's unnecessary. Incredibly unnecessary. Eh. I want to go fast, and I just can't. Anyway. You know what? Here's what I think. I think my fingers are starting to hurt from this. I might shrug it off for a moment and play something else that's silly. Because I'm not quite ready to be done with stream yet, but I'm also, like, kinda, like, tired of this. Not that it's bad, not that I don't think I'm gonna beat it, but just my fingers after those Luigi levels are a little raw. And as demonstrated, coming in with fingers that are feeling better helps a lot with this hack. No! Boink, boink, boink. No, nope, okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna do. We'll get hit here, obviously. And come back around, finish this up later, I think. I don't know how much more there is. I mean, there's clearly at least 2 more whole worlds. There are 2 more whole levels. I don't know how many sub-areas that's going to encompass, but I think it's good for my fingers to take a short break. So we will leave this off here and pick this up again soon, I think. Yeah, I played around in this area a bit, but then my fingers were hurting because of the prior Luigi levels. Oh god, it's so hard to get used to this physics after playing anything else. But yeah, the prior Luigi levels were a little bit hard on the hands. But this is much kinder and more relaxing to some extent. Turn this down, this is too bright. I don't know why Glitch did that. Aside from a, like, make sure you're paying attention at the very beginning of the level kind of thing. Oh wait, that's a duck jump. That's a super jump. There are certain things that are important to remember when playing this. Certain tools that you have access to that aren't merely your classic running and jumping. It's a stall level, isn't it? Where basically you need to stall out specific bits of timing. The funny thing is, because of the key differences between all of the characters, all of the level designs for all of the characters are very different. Like, Peach always has to be exploiting the float. But Mario levels just tend to be Mario levels, you know? In the sense that, yeah, this could have been anyone else's level, given certain tolerances, I suppose. I never figured out how to get past this part without taking damage. Whoops. What's up, Mero? How you doing? We are trying to finish Subcon today, which will, if I succeed, allow me to have beaten Return to Subcon before Return to Subcon 2 comes out, which is the stated goal. I'm still not... Oh, that's a trap, isn't it? Okay, and then there's this part where we have to... Well, we do need a jump there. That was about as far as I got last time, so nothing too fancy going on here. Dang it. Well, I'm not going to sandbag just because I need more practice, clearly. Yeah, if I finish this early, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. Depends on how long it takes, I guess. Currently, it may take a while. I'm not sure that World 7-2 is just warped, which is the thing. Like, I got here and was like, well, do I want to keep going? And I was getting kind of... My hands were hurting from the Luigi level, so... The Luigi level had way too much mashing. And Glitch Cat actually showed up in chat and I did apologize for that, which I appreciated. He has learned a level design lesson. He will not be repeating that in Subcon 2, I imagine. Subcon, like, no. There's a certain amount of like, learning experience you need when, like, learning how level design works. And Glitch kind of had to learn that. And to make it trickier, like, there's not a lot of other hacks of Mario 2 to really draw inspiration from. It's really just, like, at the time this came out, many years ago, I think there was only, like, a couple, maybe? If any? Right. Oh. I was so amped to fight something. So wrong. Oh, wait! Ah! I forgot the bird comes alive. 2 US over 2 JP. That's fair. 2 JP is kind of just mean. I completely forgot about how the hawk thing worked. The Hawkman cometh, and he bringeth doomsday. You say, impressive. I already know it. I'm a hardcore player, and I'm not afraid to show it. Got a PhD in pain and a master's in disaster. The mighty Stephen Hawking isn't fucking Quake Master. Oh, Stephen Hawking. I mean, MC Hawking was honestly awesome for its time. Whoomp. I moonwalked off of there. Yeah, we just need to be more careful. Oh. We will see. I guess it had to be the case that they weren't going to make it a very long level. And we had this coming up. Okay. New plan. Hit with vegetable. Do not moonwalk. Hit with another vegetable. Do not moonwalk. Hit with a third vegetable. Hop right in. Alright, that worked out pretty well. Oh, I could pick? Oh, man. I'll go Peach. Let's try Peach. I might not be able to come back here. This may have been a really bad decision. Never played much SMB2. Is this a hack or actually SMB2? No, this is a full hack. So this is a hack of SMB2 made by GlitchCat 07. Okay, so this is it. Well, I didn't... Right. I need to remember how this works. Around the time this came out, I want to say 18, D to the 4th had just developed a level editor, which I think was the first... There may have been other level editors, but this was the first one I was aware of. And so GlitchCat made a hack, and it's a pretty full hack. Like, I think it's a lot of levels, not all of them. I don't know why I say that. But, like, it's, I think, 2 worlds short, so I think you have to go all the way through 4, and then it jumps you to 7. Nope. Trying to remember how this works. It's been a while since I've warded. Yep, D the 4th, one of the OGs. But yeah, like, this is cool, and like I said, GlitchCat's working on another hack, Subcon 2, obviously. I think it has a subtitle, but I don't know if that subtitle is public yet, so I'm not saying it aloud. Yes, I know his mouth has to be open. The problem is I haven't been Mario 2ing in a very long time, and so generally... Oh, I got lucky there. I'm used to fighting Wart in the context of SMW's Wart, the port there, and that one's meaner. I should have gone Toad. Ah, no! Okay, well... I mean, I could still go Toad. I could reset and then pick Toad. I don't think Peach's hover's helping me any. I'm vaguely tempted to go Toad. The problem is the SMW port of Wart has some weird characteristics. Like, the vegetables don't actually harm the bubbles, which is a problem. So, you don't really get a chance to do that. Nope. Those vegetables don't jump very high. I think there's a pattern. Wait, why did I throw that? Okay. There's a pattern to which ones pop up. That's the key thing. Or not. I thought that'd be the right one now. It's not, yeah, you can also re-grab the vegetable, which happens to be far too often. Like, your timing for that wart has to be immaculate, comparatively. I'm not a fan of that wart. This one's fine. I mean, specifically the one in SMB2. I can't speak for this boss. I haven't beaten it yet. But you know what I mean. Okay. Wasn't expecting to grab it. I should have picked Mario or something. Or maybe not. It's one hit. Like, hovering does have its advantages. Can't wait for add music SMB. Some people have been working on that. So I don't know if you know, but last year, I think, there was an SMB2 level design contest. And some people did figure out how to add custom music. I don't believe it was quite as easy, since you have to deal with the NES style of music stuff. But the other side is, like, it's much simpler. You only have 4 channels. You can't do that much. Oh, whoops. I jumped into that. Basically, if I run, if this doesn't take more than, like, 10... if this takes this long... Let's say I get Wart in, like, the next 5 minutes or so. Like, we'll switch to something else, and that might be one of the options. Alright, that poofed my vegetable. Sweet, yeah, I don't worry about samples. Subcon, yeah, exactly. Like, you have your 4 channels, you can triangle your 2 squares, I want to say, and then you have the noise. And that's really where you would be using your samples, if at all. So typically, like, noise is used for, like, the sounds in the game. I might switch to Toad, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm really bad at this. My vegetable did not shield me. See, I was kind of hoping I'd just keep him off screen and despawned until it mattered. Dang it! Nope. I panicked. What? Oh. I don't like Wart. I've decided I don't like Wart. He's a 6-hit guy, right? Nope. Oh! I just don't like any critter on the NES that does parabolic motion. Yeah, it just might be the ticket. Come on, vegetable. Oh, definitely too early. I can't disagree with that. See that? I don't understand why sometimes that happens. Like, I'm trying to, like, be on the vegetable. Okay, does it, like, go mid... like... It does go with a pattern. Okay, so it goes from left to right, then right to left. Alright, so at least we figured that out. Doesn't seem to be helping me, but we figured that out. Bad trade. This battle's making me hungry. I'm gonna go for some radish, really. Maybe pickled. Dang it! Right, he takes a while. Yeah, they did. Indeed, they did. How you doing, Simon? Oh god, I've hit him 6 times. No! Got one. Okay, that was far. I was really hoping I'd automatically pick up the vegetable. I'm not really sure how that works. Didn't get hit. Didn't get vegetable either. No, the wrong way! I would have hit! Oh well. I'm locked in to vegetable land. Dang it! More float there than unexpected. So I'm one, he got two. Okay, never mind. This boss is stressful. Oh! He wasn't even in the right spot. Fizzled. Dirk Fizzlebeef. At least I found a kind of pattern. Nope. Way too late. Because the goal is always to get the middle vegetable. And then not flub it. This will be the left vegetable, which I don't terribly care about. Okay, I don't know exactly how to pick that up on the fly the way that it wants to, but... At least surviving... No. No. None of that helped. Ow. Really wish that wasn't there. One of my least favorite tropes in any sort of hack is like the lol, you weren't paying attention at the very beginning, at the very first spawn, so you just die. That was too late. Okay, it's not worth trying to pluck vegetables as Peach. It's just not. She picks them up way too slowly, so I really do need to just do this. And then not flub my throws. Come on. Okay, let's get the hang of that. The big problem is, like, Wart can be really deep in there. Okay, so he opens his mouth approximately there, okay. So the nice thing is that Wart is actually very consistent once you pay attention to him. He will always open his mouth at approximately the same location in his walk cycle. There's a lot of things I remember about this that are coming back to me now. So he always does it in the exact same point in his walk cycle, so you can kind of predict what he's going to do, because once he gets to the right pixel, well, he's going to do the same thing every time. See? Now I don't know where he's going to go in his cycle to throw up. It's the same thing with the opposite direction after walking. Dang it. This is still the best run I've done. I think I've hit him twice. But it's hard to say. Nope. I forgot what my strategy was, and I shouldn't have been there anyway. Okay, cool. We've remembered some useful things. Where does he throw? Okay, right there. I think he has a slightly longer vulnerability time in this, in SMB1 that he does in SMW too, which helps. It's the left side. I don't care about the left side. Okay, right. Oh no, I'm way off. Right side. Not even close, that vegetable. There we go. I still got it. Wow, even after one bubble came out. Okay. Miss it. And then right side, left side. Basically, I've got a gambling on it coming to the right side of this, 'cause it's an easier thing for me to deal with. Okay, it's at the very end of his walk cycle. It has value to me. Ooh, no, that was close. Okay, that wasn't remotely close because I threw the vegetable the wrong way. This is the wrong side. Oh, why did I do that? Need to be closer. I'm doing risky things for no payoff. Vegetable. Vegetable. Okay, we're just waiting for the opportune moment. Because as long as he's off screen, he can't spawn bubbles. So it's not dangerous and reduces the amount of effort it takes. There we go. Okay, now he's really far forward when he does that. Well, that was a really good quick hit. Okay, I don't care about that vegetable. Okay, it's right near the beginning of his walk cycle, so good to know. The worst part is, I know that there's a troll at the end of this that I'm going to have to avoid. And having taken one hit is not good for avoiding that troll. Okay. And then let him go again. Okay, pretty close to the end of the walk cycle. Missed that. Wait, a vegetable? Yeah, I think he's close. No! I mistimed it. That hurts. That hurts. But I found a strategy, even if it's a slow and clunky one, that will suffice. Not going in the speedrun, I'll tell you that much. Nope. Oh. I wasn't even thinking. Okay, where does he start that? Far end? Okay. Then... Okay. So that's... too early! This is fine. No! Okay. I forgot where I was in my cycle. Nope. Just ignore it. Come back over here. Alright, yeah, we ignore these two. Didn't run to the left fast enough. I'm on 2 hits. Or 1 hit. I'm actually not sure now. One time I didn't go this way. I wanted to try gambling a different direction. Okay. Cool. Okay, he has a new trajectory. Okay, it's in like the middle of the walk cycle, which isn't great. Mistakes were made. Oh yeah, okay, cool. At the far back. Which is dangerous, because again, he's on the spikes. But we're getting closer. It also has its advantages in terms of like just being less risky for certain other maneuvers. I could probably justify trying to do the left one, but we've settled on a strategy as dumb as it is. Is that the middle one? Nope. It was, but I didn't do it right. Okay, left side. He's really close to the front when he does that. Okay, cool. Okay, it's after the pause. I wasn't ready for that. I don't know what I was trying to accomplish there. There was no reason to be there at that point in the cycle. Ah! Dang it! That was like 5 hits. He's at the far back. He's at the far back. Okay. Nope. Too early. Yeah, I got sniped. Ugh. Be better if the strategy wasn't so slow and irritating. But still better than trying to dodge the bubbles for an indefinite period of time. That was the middle one, so we just wait a cycle. That was the middle one, so we should have just waited a cycle. Nope! Okay. Left. Okay, where does he start? Oh, that's one of the... That's kind of okay, actually. Just trickier to grab the vegetable. Okay. No! No! Oh, double... Ah. What am I doing? Yeah, no, there's no way to pull that off with where he's standing right now. Wait, why did I do that? Okay. Try this again. It is weird to me that this fight does actually go differently. Ah, on occasion. Okay, I thought he was all the way out to the right. Not just most of the way out. That was way early. I legitimately don't know where his bubble starts. Where is he starting? Pretty far to the right, but not all the way to the right. Okay. There we go. No! Ah! When the first hit is the hardest hit to get. There's definitely a faster way. I just didn't choose a good one. Yeah, no, I would have probably gotten hit there. No! I even threw it the wrong way. Yeah, I think that's kind of the key. What? No! Ah, just... No. Can't believe the spike got me. It's always the same one to start with. It shouldn't be hard. Some of you eat Dakon. How you doing? Drakon. Ah. Daikon. I got vegetables on the mind. There we go. Nose itches. Right. Not bad. You're the first one to say daikon. Look, I've definitely put my excuse that I'm playing this game, and there are in fact daikon radishes in it. It's a game that's full of fiber or something. There we go. There we go. Finally got a hit. How about me? I'm doing pretty good. Had a chill day yesterday, doing puzzles with the bros, and got the place good and cleaned up because of that, which is always good. And I'm just trying to beat Return to Subcon before Subcon 2 comes out, which I'm not too worried about happening in the next minute or two, because, like, I'm going to get this in less than, you know, an hour or whatever. It's just a matter of getting this correct. There we go, that's Wart. Another hit on him. I have a pattern. I have a strategy. It's just not very fast. And is RNG dependent. But otherwise, just kind of chill day. In the good kind of way. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then where does he do this? All the way back right after he gets there. Okay. Perfect. Okay, somewhat near the front. Let's watch it another time. Okay, after he gets the front. Just a little bit after. Bit more than that, mind, but only a bit. Oh, this is the wrong vegetable timer. You know, of all of the bosses that keep the thing that is their biggest weakness around, I think Warts is legitimately the funniest. Because he's just got this machine that shoots vegetables out for no real reason. He hates them. They hurt him. Why does he have them? Like, at least sometimes when it's like, oh no, I'm a boss in the missile factory. I sure hope you don't hit me with any missiles. Like, yeah, missiles are everyone's weakness. But vegetables aren't. Vegetables are my weakness presently. But just like, here's the thing that kills me. Conveniently placed right next to where I am. There's just something funny about that to me. Okay, there we go. There we go. Looks like it's going to be shortly after he starts his walk, okay? You know, fair point on the dream logic. That's actually a legitimate argument here that I cannot debunk. Argue against easily. Because, yeah, no, it is a dream, isn't it? It's the only game that no one gets mad about the whole, like, oh, it was just a dream thing. It's like, yeah, they tell you it up front, it was a dream. I guess also Keen Dreams, which I suspect was inspired, at least marginally, by this. But let's say this is a better game than Keen Dream is by a fair margin. Like, Keen Dreams is just not a very good Commander Keen game. And where is he positioned? Middle of the walk. Okay. When he's almost done walking, that's not a good position. Like, Keen Dreams' biggest problem is, like, you have to, like, go through all the levels to get the potato bombs or something. And the thing is, like, that's not a very compelling story. Nor is it compelling gameplay, and then at the end you get, like, 20 potato bombs to try to beat the Potato King or something. Like, it's pretty obvious that the guys at ID completely and utterly half-assed it. In part because they were too busy working on Doom. Now, can you blame them? Because, like, Doom. I am not getting good luck right now. And getting hit there sucks. Okay. The middle of the walk. It's like the worst spot. That's it. If I don't mess up this troll. Yep. Because this game handles like a boat. Didn't mess it up. Yes! Congratulations, we freed all of the good Bezos. You know, if I'd restored my save state, we would have seen that we had more contributors, but I loaded from fresh today. Luigi helped, Toad helped, all of them really, truly actually helped. And then they, like, processed Warts' corpse into something. Who knows? Maybe, like, a nice coat rack. But they were top contributors regardless. Sup, Kappa? Thank you for the GGs, peeps, and whatnot. Anyway, it was a good experience. It was fun to play through Return to Subcon, especially levels I hadn't seen yet, which wasn't as many as I thought. I got a lot further along than the last time I played this. I'm not sure there's going to be credits. I sure hope there are going to be credits. Oh, here they are. Mario has to wake up before there's credits. Have you played Root Beer Tapper? I've certainly played like a Flash version of Root Beer Tapper, but never the game proper in like a arcade or something. Oh, cast. I do like it when they tell you the names of all of the critters in the game, and this is actually kind of nice. Wonder if those are sprites for this, or if the Mario stuff is sprites, because you can't really do scrolling and multi-layered things like this on the NES. Bezo, Porcupo, Tweeter. Oh, that's his name, really? Tweeter. Bob-omb. Very important. Very important. Hoopstar. Really? Trouter. Pidgeot. I knew Pidgeot at least. Got to be in Pokemon later. Panzer. Weird name for it, but makes sense. Flurry. Was Flurries even in this? I don't think they were. Albatross. Phanto. Oh god, Phantos is the most terrifying thing. Sparky. Subcon. Is that really what those are called? Oh. Pokey. Everyone loves Pokey. Just look at him. Birdo. That is not Birdo. Ostra. Do people get confused about this? How did this happen? Autobomb. Corbat. Cobrat. Mouser. Mouser's underrated, I'd say, as far as boss in this game go. Fry Guy's okay. I don't love him. Claw Grip was not appearing in this film. Or if he did, I completely forgot about him. And we beat up Triclyde. Pretty sure we beat up Triclyde at some point. Because when it gets to the end of the bar in that game, they slide it along off-screen to some unknown fate. Pour me a drink, bartender. Oh, there was Ward. There he went. The end. Yeah, no, Subcon was pretty good. Definitely a bit rough around the edges, but I suspect Subcon 2 will definitely be better. And I look forward to playing it when it comes out. Should be a lot of fun. I don't know when that's going to be. But soon. I've been told soon many times, in the same way that Half-Life 2 is soon, or 3. But I suspect, unlike those, it'll actually come out. They had their names swapped, and Claw Grip was in English, just like a villain. Ah, okay. That's interesting. Alright, well, I expected that to take a lot longer. Now to do something else.